Hey guys, welcome back. I have my friend Tori here today. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
I think the last time I had you on,
It has to.
you were pregnant with Micah.
Okay. Yeah. When you were really postpartum?
Yeah, with Evangeline.
That was silly.
I know.
That was silly.
But that's truly the last time.
I wasn't aware. I'm now going on time 3. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness gracious.
We live and we learn.
We live
Isn't
and
it
we
funny?
learn.
We're like the best moms before we have kids.
100%.
Or like the perception of reality is so different.
I do remember even on that trip, because we were, backstory, we were like going to a wedding. And Chad and I were like getting ready in our hotel. I was like, I think 26 weeks pregnant or something like that.
You had like just popped.
Yeah, I was big. And I think y'all were running late because your mom or something, they were like coming, you were like, oh, I forgot to pack like the kids' clothes and everything. You're only 2 weeks postpartum. 2 weeks postpartum, and you're about to like road trip to a wedding with your newborn. And I'm over here thinking, I wonder why they're running so late. Like, you have 2 kids and your third baby is a newborn, and I'm literally pregnant, having just zero awareness of the reality of what that looks like. And I'm like, oh, I hope we can make it to that shop in time. Like, what is my problem?
You live and you learn.
You do. You
really do.
Yeah.
So, okay, anyway, we've come a long way. Because when Tori and I first became friends, how long were you guys married when that happened?
We met in 2021, so about 2 years.
Okay. And they had been wanting to start a family, and we're struggling with that. And I remember when I met Tori, I was like, oh, it'd be so fun for us to be pregnant together.
Yeah.
And now we're on our 3rd pregnancy together.
So crazy.
So she currently has 2 boys. Yeah, it's like, I was tearing up about it this morning with Jordan, but she has 2 boys, expecting her 3rd boy.
Yeah.
In 3 years.
Yes. In less than 3 years.
Yeah, less than 3 years.
Yeah. 3 boys under 3. Feels like a badge of honor. You know? I know. There's something about like saying 3 boys under 3. I feel like people are like,
yes.
Like there's something.
Because that is holy work right there.
It is holy work and the best work, and I'm so excited. Like they're gonna be 3 peas in a pod.
It's gonna be really cute. They're all gonna be really close.
Yeah, they will be.
It'll be really sweet. Yeah. So anyway, I was like, I feel like it would be fun to have a conversation on marriage after kids.
Yeah.
And after multiple kids, and after multiple kids really close in age. I know it's very like niche and very specific, but I do think there is a lot of wisdom to be learned from having 3 under 3 versus having like 3 kids that are like 6 years apart. Like,
and if
or even 2 full years apart with all of them. There's a big difference.
Yeah, and even if you're not like in this exact season, I think that I used to watch these videos and think I would never fall victim to anything in regards to marriage. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I would never put my marriage on the back burner, or oh, my toddler will never be in the bed with us. Like, there's so many things that I was like, oh, that'll never happen. Yeah. And then you become a parent, and then you're like, oh, we're in that right now. How do we actually navigate this? I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't really expecting us to feel like we'd ever go through a season where it feels like we're kind of coexisting or playing like you got this one, you got this one, you know, versus gosh, we have to be so intentional now to prioritize our marriage and prioritize our time. And we literally went on a little date the other day because praise the Lord, the DMV appointment it went really smooth and we had extra time. So we were like, let's go grab lunch together. And we were in the car just like so giddy and happy, like on the way home. And we were like, man, is there anything a little date can't fix? Aww. Like we just felt so connected and it was so fun. But we were like, oh, we have to make sure, because we will get in certain rhythms where we're really good about like having a date night, or we're really good about having these moments of connection, and then rhythms change, things change. Backstory on us right now, we're like in between houses right now, so we're like literally here because we're practically homeless.
Why not?
We're supposed to be moving moved into our house last weekend and it is not ready.
But
like
it
literally
worked
Texas.
out.
It worked out so great.
Because I haven't seen Tori in like 2 years.
Or
maybe a little
were
less,
both
a little
pregnant.
less than that.
We were both pregnant last time we saw each other with our last kids.
Babies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we joke and say that like the times that we talk to each other the most is when we're like telling each other we're pregnant. Because we'll always call each other. And it always ends up being right when
we're like,
literally either of us.
Y'all were the first people to find out we were pregnant this time.
I know, I remember.
Like, it was literally
so
like an hour after I told Chad, and that was only, less than 2 hours after I had found out, so.
Yeah, that was really exciting.
Wild. But anyways, all that to say, marriage does take more work than I thought it would in seasons like this.
Yeah, yeah. I think you have to be more creative with the intentionality. Because what used to work doesn't necessarily work.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of mindset shifts that need to come into play too.
Yeah.
Because there was a season where date night really solved a lot for us.
Yeah.
Like we were consistently doing date nights every single Sunday.
I remember.
But I think we had 2 at the time, possibly 3.
Yep, I think you were pregnant with
Evangeline. Yes. And that was like before we moved. And that worked for us. And that really gave us time because they were so little that saying like, we'll just have them go play and we can just sit and talk wasn't realistic in that season.
That's where we're at.
But date night saved us a ton. But now with 4 and us moving, we don't have a sitter. We don't have anyone that can watch them for us to consistently do date nights. But we found ourselves having more time to spend with each other without that.
How?
And it was like the mindset shift of like, okay, we don't have date night, but we all just ate dinner, the kitchen's cleaned, the kids want to eat ice cream and ride their bikes. So they're going to go outside and play and we're going to sit on the porch and talk.
Yeah.
So, or like we're going to like do something together. Like we've been having to do a lot of chicken and duck work together, but while we're doing it, like we can listen to podcasts together and we can talk about things together. And the kids just are playing, or like the younger 2 are napping and the older ones are playing. So like we have found that we've had actually more lenience and space for that, despite having more children and not having the date night. So just knowing the reality of each season is going to bear different types of fruit, and knowing that like you don't need to have a like set date night in order to be
you can
intentional
figure out different rhythms and different things that work. I think that's where we're at, is like trying to find that. And I've even noticed just being here is the difference in kids' attitudes outside. Like I feel like we're even able to have so much more conversation sitting outside and like just letting the kids play and roam. And I feel like that's just such a blessing that we don't take advantage of enough. And honestly, for us, it was really difficult this past season being in a smaller space and in an apartment and not really able to like utilize outside as much. And so what does that look like for you? Because y'all have lived in a lot of different houses and and even in the winter, like that's not as much of an option for you guys.
We make it an option.
Yeah, because y'all do like
we really do. We do the 1,000 hours
outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like in the dead of winter, I'd say it's like maybe 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 15 minutes here.
Yeah.
But we are really big on outside time.
Yeah.
And we're big on outside time, working out. Like those are the 2 things the kids have to do every day.
Okay. Cute.
So they have to play outside for an hour and they have to work out for 30 minutes.
Okay.
But those are the older kids.
Yeah.
Like the other, my toddler works out all day.
Yeah.
And the baby too.
Yeah.
But like it's a different element, but it does help like so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's why like marriage and motherhood and everything, it's so intertwined. Like the decisions that you make as a mom impact your marriage in so many ways that I don't think you just think about all the time. Because I think it was really easy for us too to kind of just be led by the children. You know, and like, oh well, this is what the children need, or this is what, you know, but it impacts us in a negative way. And not prioritizing, no, hey, like mommy and daddy need this. And for us, we are in that season where they're 1 and 2.5. So it's not just like, oh yeah, y'all just like go play and have quiet time
Yeah.
so that mommy and daddy can talk. It's definitely more like, mama. Anyways, you guys, we just had a little,
It's interesting trying to film.
the guys are outside with
The kids?
most of the kids.
Yeah.
Two of the kids are napping. Still out.
And one is wiggling around.
Yeah, literally. Oh my goodness, I like have the giggles. It's really easy, especially I feel like in the little years. Something we're figuring out right now was, I feel like Chad and I got so stuck in like, this is our rhythm, this is how the kids thrive, this is what has to happen. And it even impacted our church life for a little while, where it was like, oh, we can't go to that service because nap time's gonna be bad or bedtime's gonna be bad. And it just was like, are we not gonna go to church because our kids won't nap well? Like, we can't do that.
Right.
And so we finally like gotten back into a solid rhythm with that, but it was, of course, that was oh goodness. And I just never really thought it was something that we would struggle with, because it's like such a big conviction. And I'm a church girl, like I need church.
Aren't we all?
Like it is my happy place, like just being in the room, because honestly, we're in a season where our kids aren't even doing children's church. And so they're in service literally with us, which I'm sure you guys can imagine is pretty distracting sometimes. But I would rather be in the house of God and be slightly distracted by the blessings from God than not in the house of God because of things like children he's given me to steward. And I've just had so many moments literally holding Noah or holding Micah during worship and just crying, remembering all the time that I prayed and fasted over these children. But I guess my question is like, number one, you probably need to pray for like conviction if you're living in a season where you're allowing your kids to dictate schedules in your life, and especially if they're coming in between like a conviction you have from the Holy Spirit. Because that was something I really struggled with. But then two, what if they're unaware, like completely? Like, what's like a red flag almost for moms out there if they're like feeling like their marriage is disconnected or their relationship with God is disconnected?
I'd say children can easily become idols. And that is like, to define an idol is anything that you think about more than God, desire more than God, want more than God. Like anything can be an idol. And I like, it's it's silly to say, but like a child becoming an idol is like the least of the things that could become idols, but it's still replacing God.
I think it's one of the like
the easiest
ones.
Yes.
Totally.
But it's like such a fine line. And I think when they are so young and do require so much time and effort and attention, that it is so easy to get to that. But I feel like whenever we use them as an excuse, I think that's a first red flag. Because if we're thinking about them versus the Lord, then that, you know, and if we're relying on their schedules versus the Lord, like for me, there was like such a switch when I realized that I thrive on less sleep, but my Bible time happening. Like, I'd much rather have a grace-filled day where I'm in the Word and that is what I'm meditating on versus, like, a full 6 hours of sleep. Like, I'd much rather sacrifice an hour of that to have that be how I start my day.
For sure.
Because then the entire day is different. Like, there's this quote, and I, like, just learned it last week, and I've quoted it 45 times. But I think it's Matthew Henry. I have to, like, go back because I keep quoting it, and I'm probably quoting it correctly. But he says, my days are too long and I have too much to do to not start it in 3 hours of prayer before. And I'm like, if that's not a mother's life motto right there, then I don't know what is, because it's true. We have so many things to do, so many littles to care for, so much soul work to do, that if we aren't rooted in his word
Yeah.
and prayer first,
Yeah.
then it's all in vain.
Well, and I feel like too, like I don't bear any of the fruit of the Spirit during the day if I'm not first in his word.
Yes.
And
Wait, can
I notice
real
it.
quick?
Yes.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, well, even Chad, like he'll notice in the morning.
It's like, oh, you didn't read your
He's
Bible
like,
today, did you?
let me take the kids on a walk so mommy can have some time with Jesus, because it's true. It's like, even if for me, if I can get 20 minutes of just like time with Jesus, I feel like I've now like put my armor on. And I feel like something that I learned a couple months ago that I keep going back to and joy is a fruit of the Spirit, right? But it's also what the Lord says is your strength. And I'm like, okay, well, no wonder the enemy wants to come after my joy.
Yes.
Because when he steals my joy, then I'm weak. And then I think about a roaming lion, right? And it's like, okay, who does a lion go after? It goes after the isolated weak one. And so he's like, well, first let me take her joy to isolate her, make her feel like she's the only one going through this, and weaken her.
Yeah.
And then the attacks are just so much easier, right, for us to fall victim to. And so it's like, okay, first, of course, I need to like have the armor of God, but then I'm rooted, I'm planted, I'm abiding in him, and so that I can bear these fruits of the Spirit. I cannot bear any fruit not attached to the vine. And it's like the little things that I notice throughout the day, like that can cause overwhelm, can cause overstimulation, like whatever that is. The way I fight back is so different when I'm like rooted in him, and I feel like I'm having that constant kind of conversation with the Holy Spirit of how do I respond and react, because no, I can't control this necessarily, but I can control how I respond to this. And even just like turning on worship music in the house, or like changing up the atmosphere or whatever, versus me just like sinning in my anger and letting my flesh lead and then reacting. And then it doesn't just bleed into my children, it bleeds into my marriage, right? And it's like, well, who wants to be around a super frustrated, overstimulated mom all the time? You know?
Yeah, I always think of like the leaky faucet.
The nagging wife.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, am I being a leaky faucet today, or am I being the crown of, like his crown?
Yeah.
Because it says that a wife is the crown of her husband, and it's like, okay, so I can either be like this beautiful crown, or I can be this like leaky faucet and he's hiding in the attic. But the verse I was thinking of is Psalm 127, and this is where like all, like, I feel like everyone knows this verse, where it's in verse 3, it says, children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from him. But a little bit before that, it says, it is useless for you to work so hard from early morning until late at night, anxiously working for food to eat, for God gives his rest to his beloved ones. And I remember I read this a couple weeks ago, and I was so convicted, because I was like, I'm always the first one up and the last one to go to bed. Am I toiling for no reason all day? And the biggest thing that the Lord convicted me of was like, if you're spending your day in prayer and asking me what I have planned for you that day, it will not be in vain. But if you're going about your day thinking that you're going to do and control what you want to do that day, then it will. And so like just having every moment relying on the Lord and asking him for wisdom of like what my day is supposed to look like,
what you're supposed to notice,
his plans versus my own. That alone, you don't even notice those like little annoyances that I probably normally would have gotten hung up on.
Because it's like you're looking through his eyes, not yours. And it's a totally different lens. And that's honestly something, I don't even know how long we've been talking, but something the Lord has really revealed to me lately is like the different lenses that you can have in life. And it's like, okay, am I looking through the lens of gratitude today? Or am I looking through the lens of frustration today? Because when I'm looking through the lens of frustration, I can point out a bunch of things.
Oh, certainly.
Right? That are like frustrating me.
You can always find the annoying things.
There's always things. And what we focus on, we magnify and we glorify. But if we have the lens of Christ, if we're looking through the lens of gratitude, if we're looking through, like, what does God want me to notice today? And as simple as something we were talking about the other day, it's like, there's a lot of people that do these walks and they'll pick a color, whether it's yellow or purple or pink or whatever, and they're going on a walk with eyes to see that thing.
Yeah.
And how often do we walk through life saying, where is Jesus today? Like, where can I notice him in my day? Whether it's like that little voice saying mama, right? Or like that husband that just walks by and gives you a random hug or kiss, or like just the little things.
Yeah.
Are we like actually noticing them? Or are we just kind of like brushing them off? Like, oh, like, because I'm too focused on the thing that's frustrating me.
Yeah.
That I can't see anything else.
Yeah, or like the full fridge of groceries and like the clean clothes that the kids have, and like there's so many things. Because I feel like there was a season where I had to constantly fight for joy. Like last year after we moved, when we were in the middle of unpacking, having a newborn, 4 and 5 years, and I was just like, I just had a lot on my plate. I had to constantly fight for joy, but our Monday meetings, one of the things that we do is we
grounded you.
Yes, but like we write like what are we working on that week?
Yeah.
And so I remember one of the weeks like I was working on joy, and like the next week one of my kids highlighted and said like, Mommy, I noticed you were more joyful last week.
Aww.
And I feel like the accountability that our Monday meetings have given us, which we skipped today, but we totally should have still done it, or still do one today because it's still Monday. But they like just even acknowledging that, or like bringing it up to your kids, because like it's so easy for us to constantly see the things that our kids need to work on, but it's like we also need to constantly look at what we need to work on too. Yeah, because it's so easy to want to like constantly correct them, but it's like we need to be corrected too.
100%. And it's what a fool despises correction, but a wise man welcomes it.
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, Proverbs will freaking.
I know, I'm reading Proverbs right now. It will. There's so much wisdom in that.
But the beauty of that is like, we're always looking to Google, to Instagram, to Chat GPT, to all of these different things to like gain wisdom on how to be better wives or be better moms. And it's like, the Lord literally promises, like, all you have to do is ask for wisdom and he will give it abundantly. Yeah. And I think every single morning as a mom, as a wife, as someone who longs to be a wife or a mom, we should be praying every single morning, like, Lord, you say in your word that if I ask for wisdom, you are faithful to give it and give it abundantly. So Lord, give me your wisdom today to put my lens on of gratitude. To have a spirit that is willing to receive correction and celebrate conviction and notice what I can work on so that I can be a better reflection of you in my home and in my community and have control over my tongue and all the things.
You can pray for wisdom for your husband too. Yeah. Because I feel like sometimes people are like, well, I don't need wisdom. Well, you know, it's like, I don't need any wisdom. Well, that's pride. Someone so needs wisdom.
That's a whole nother video right there.
But we can pray for wisdom and intercede on the behalf of others. Yeah. Our spouses and our children specifically.
Yeah, 100%.
I was going to say something and it lost me. Ugh, 2 pregnant women trying to find me. That was not a good... I think we're going to...
Go check out our
kids and our husband. Yeah.
I also want to witness your Monday meeting.
Yeah, I know. I told Jordan, I told him yesterday that we should still do it even though you guys are here. And
I want to see how your flow is. Yeah, especially with the kids, because I feel like
it's so fun. Yeah, it is really
like
fun.
how you involve them.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We're gonna go do that. I pray you guys enjoy this. Thanks for coming. Bye.